Trump began his press conference today, his first solo press conference in some time, by responding to the perceived inconsistency that he's demonstrated by attacking the leaks regarding his administration's cozy relationship with Russian intelligence operatives, while at the same time calling it fake news. Sort of an interesting thing he's doing there. Let's see how he explains that.
On the leaks, is it fake news or are these real leaks?
Well, the leaks are real. You're the one that wrote about them and reported them. I mean, the leaks are real. You know what they said. You saw it. And the leaks are absolutely real. The news is fake because so much of the news is fake. I mean, I watch CNN. It's so much anger and hatred and just the hatred. I don't watch it anymore because it's very good. He's saying, no, it's okay, Jim. It's okay, Jim. You'll have your chance. But I watch others, too. You're not the only one, so don't feel badly.
It's just a casual insulting, like, you'll have your chance. So they reported on the New York Times report. They cover it. It's just anger and hatred. Maybe he feels that watching the coverage.
No, so that's interesting. But let me be clear about what I criticize Trump on and not. Him attacking the press, I think that's par for the course. I actually think it's probably pretty good politics. And if I was in his position, I would do it too. Now, the question is, how do you do it? So I would point out, hey, listen, you guys you work for giant multinational corporations, and there's certain pressures that come along with that. Now, hopefully have a somewhat intelligent explanation of why their perspective is different than one that is simply objective. Okay. Now, the way Trump does it is, no, the leaks are real. The leaks are real. The leaks are real because you reported on it, but the news is fake.
Because so much of it is fake.
No, but wait a minute. You just said they reported on it and that it's real. So how could they report on it, which you just acknowledged is real, be fake? Now, come on. No. Like, if you're a Trump supporter and you just want to support him because you hate the establishment, okay, I guess I understand that. Or you're a right-winger and you like the hatred thing he's going for, or you like crony capitalism, whatever. Okay, but don't pretend he's smart, because he's not. He's an absolute moron. Because that doesn't make any goddamn sense at all. The leaks are real and the way you reported on it is real. That's why you're fake. No, he's stupid. He has low IQ. He's a fucking child.
He is a child, but I mean, he's certainly going to get away with it. He can now apply fake news to anything he wants, and he's been doing it on a daily basis. Most of his tweets now are about fake news because fake news was a real issue. It had an effect. It exists on both sides. There's fake news that's meant to appeal to liberals and meant to appeal to conservatives. It changes from time to time, the ratio. But they immediately on the right began attacking it, claiming that anything they don't like is fake news. Some on the left felt like fake news was being used as an excuse for Hillary Clinton, or they just like attacking the media so much that they started using it to apply it to everything. And now the water has been so muddied that fake news is whatever the hell you want it to be. Despite the fact that it has an actual definition, we can't apply that definition anymore because so many people gleefully used it for whatever the hell they want.
And by the way, that is not by accident. That is not Trump doing it. Trump's a low-level troll. No, it's the guys like Steve Bannon who said, hey, go muddy the waters. Just call everything fake news, so then they won't be able to tell when we actually do real fake news.
Yeah.
Real fake news, how do you like that? So that's what they used to help Trump on Facebook, and they had a strategy around it, and they tried to manipulate people, gave them fake news. So then when you say, hey, that's a bad phenomenon, they just muddy the waters until nobody can tell the difference anymore. Because if the truth and lies are competing, lies want a playing field where you can't tell which one is which.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what they do. Now you think, well, that proves that Trump is smart because that's actually an interesting political strategy. No, he's like a guy on Twitter who's like, oh yeah, you're fake. Did I get him, Stevie? Yeah, Bannon, I got him, right? He's fake. He's fake. You're real, but fake. No, you didn't get him because you have no nuance whatsoever. You lack the ability to form logical, rational thoughts.
Yeah.
So you're like a fucking child that they send out there, and Steve Bannon tells them, okay, now call everything fake news and attack the media. That'll play well with our base and independence, which is actually somewhat true.
Probably true.
And then he goes out there and he's like, yeah, you're real and fake. fucking child. Have I mentioned
but he's
that?
enjoying it, which he'll make clear soon. Now, let's go into this next clip where he's going to continue on the attack against CNN specifically. And as always, regardless of what the actual policy being discussed or news being discussed is, he is going to make it about ratings.
If I may follow up on some of the questions that have taken place so far here, sir, and I don't know which microphone to hold here. I've got 3 microphones.
Do have other people, and your ratings aren't as good as some of the other people that are waiting.
They're pretty good right now, actually, Mr. President. But you said that the leaks are real, but the news is fake. I guess I don't understand. It seems that there's a disconnect there. If the information coming from those leaks is real, then how can the stories be fake?
The reporting is fake.
And if I may ask, I just want to ask.
Jim, you know what it is? Here's the thing. The public isn't, they read newspapers, they see television, they watch. They don't know if it's true or false because they're not involved. I'm involved. I've been involved with this stuff all my life, but I'm involved. So I know when you're telling the truth or when you're not. I just see many, many untruthful things. And I'll tell you what else I see. I see tone, the word tone. The tone is such hatred. I'm really not a bad person, by the way. No, but the tone is such, I do get good ratings, you have to admit that. And I have to say, Fox and Friends in the morning, they're very honorable people. They're very, not because they're good, because they hit me also when I do something wrong, but they have the most honest morning show. Well, you look at your show that goes on at 10 o'clock in the evening. You just take a look at that show. That is a constant hit. The panel is almost always exclusive anti-Trump. The good news is he doesn't have good ratings. Now, I will say this. I watch it. I see it. I'm amazed by it. And I just think you'd be a lot better off. I honestly do. The public gets it, Look, when I go to rallies, they turn around, they start screaming at CNN. They want to throw their placards at CNN. The public doesn't believe you people anymore. Now, maybe I had something to do with that. I don't know. As an example, your CNN, I mean, it's story after story after story is bad. I won. And the other thing, chaos. There's zero chaos. We are running. This is a fine-tuned machine. I would be your biggest fan in the world if you treated me right. Now, I sort of understand there's a certain bias, maybe by Jeff or somebody, for whatever reason.
Okay. So again, I want to be fair here because that's our whole job. So him attacking the press and saying that your tone is wrong and
I won.
Yeah, well, no, that's not a fair. That's not a fair point.
You can't say bad news. I won.
Yeah. No, but him trying to get the press to be, quote unquote, more balanced and hence put more of his henchmen on TV is an old Republican trick. So it's not like Trump invented that and that part is not new. He just does it with such little deft that he's just bumbling around as he does it. He does it inartfully, but it works enough because the public, it gets through. But so that part I'm defending him on, but when he says, I'm not a bad person, what a weird thing to say in the middle of that answer.
Ratings.
And I get good ratings. You're the president. Stop worrying about the goddamn ratings. North Korea just launched ballistic missiles.
Yeah.
The Russians have spy ships 30 miles off the coast. Okay? Stop worrying about the goddamn ratings. That's because he's a shiny object. Look at me, Daddy. Look at me. God damn it, concentrate.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, I mean, people don't trust you anymore. Maybe I had something to do with it. I don't know. I've never thought about it or had meetings with Steve Bannon about it. And the people, I know some people on the right love this. They love that his strategy is to take down the media, to destroy any faith in the media or the ability to report on facts as facts. And a lot on the right wing love this, and I understand why. I think it's incredibly short-sighted because he has shown if even a right-wing outlet turns on him on a particular issue, he will throw you under the bus, you fools. He's attacking us, he will attack you, and some even on the left who get a lot of views attacking the media. We critique the media. There's a lot of reasons to critique the media. But to go along with the destruction of the public's faith in a media at all harms you too. Not even just in the future. I'm talking about right now. If people don't feel like there's anything objective to the news, that it's just how do I feel about what they're reporting on, that destroys your credibility too, and you need to wise up to that because the war is being waged right in front of our eyes on a daily basis.
So the difference between the left-wing critique and the right-wing critique of the media is the right wing wants to tear the media down and replace it with its propaganda. The left wing is critiquing the media so that it can get better. We want to make you better, not worse.
I don't think all do. I think some just like critiquing it because they know people like that.
Yeah,
I think there's no goal. It's setting fire. It's about sending a message, okay? It's not about construction, it's about destruction. But
look, yeah, but at the same time, John, let's not do both sides do it, right? So yes, there's some on the left who do that, but for the right, it is an organized attack on the media that has gone on for decades to destroy anyone who brings you facts. So on the left, there is a very legitimate critique of the media and their perspective and how it is colored in a way that they do not acknowledge. Now, some people take that too far, I understand that, but overall, there's a reason why a lot of people on the left and right are distrustful of the media, but it isn't because everything they write is fake and you shouldn't trust anything that's actually news.
Yeah.
We've got to rebuild the media in a way where it is honest, serves the audience first rather than other interests, so that people can go back to trusting the media, because we need the news, we need facts. Otherwise, how do we make decisions in a democracy? Are you sick of the mainstream media? Then I got good news for you. We're going to hire some investigative reporters and we're going to go house. We're actually going to investigate what's happening in this country and stand up for you guys. Help us do it. Go to tytnetwork.com/go. If everybody watching this video just gives a little bit of money, we'd have plenty to hire those investigative teams and unleash them on the country.